Your go-to resource for news and analysis that delves deeply into the Plath story and goes beyond the headlines. One of the most sensitive and frightening reports we have ever put together is the one we are going to present today. There are storylines and then there are shock waves that fracture everything we thought we knew. 4 seasons, we've watched the Plath family navigate a minefield of faith, freedom, and fractured loyalties. But the mid-season trailer for Welcome to Plaville didn't just tease a new conflict. It launched a missile right into the heart of the show's most sacred alliance. That one sentence, 9 little words that signal the beginning of a civil war. This isn't just a fight. This is a betrayal of the highest order. But the question isn't what was said. The question is why. The show wants you to think it's a simple argument, but we're here at Next Stories to tell you it's so much more than that. We're about to peel back the layers of a conspiracy that goes deeper than you could ever imagine. What's up everyone, and welcome back to Next Bit Stories. If you're ready to uncover the truth that the cameras aren't showing you, then you are in the right place. Before we descend into the rabbit hole of what we're calling the Little Demon Conspiracy, do me a solid. Smash that like button. And if you haven't already, subscribe and hit that notification bell. Trust me, you are not going to want to miss a single second of where this investigation is going. Now, let's get to work. Chapter 1. The Indictment. Every great mystery starts with a single piece of evidence. For us, it's the soundbite that stopped the entire fandom in its tracks. Let's establish the baseline facts, the raw, undisputed data before we bring in our exclusive intelligence. The evidence. Exhibit A. Veronica's become quite a little demon. The official mid-season trailer with coverage amplified by major outlets like People.com confirming its significance. Approximately 1 minute and 32 seconds into the trailer. This is critical. Ethan isn't screaming this in a fit of rage. He's in a confessional, the place of supposed calm reflection. His voice is low, laced not with fury, but with a bone-deep weariness and profound disappointment. This isn't a heat-of-the-moment insult. It's a verdict. It's a judgment delivered after a long and painful trial that we, the audience, haven't even seen yet. This delivery changes everything. It elevates the comment from a simple jab to a fundamental reassessment of Veronica's character. He is essentially telling the world, the person I thought I knew, my friend, my confidant, is gone, and in her place is something calculated, manipulative, and destructive. So, the stage is set. The charge has been made. Let's step into the courtroom. In the court of reality TV, perception is everything. Based on that single line and the surrounding trailer clips, we can construct the arguments for both the prosecution and the defense. Veronica has undergone a metamorphosis. She has crossed a line from being a passive participant in the family drama to becoming an active and perhaps malicious agent of chaos. The prosecution would claim that demon isn't hyperbole. It's a descriptor for a pattern of behavior. They would allege that Veronica has engaged in systematic manipulation, turning cast members against one another for her own social gain, betrayal of confidence, weaponizing secrets that Ethan shared with her in private, calculated cruelty, intentionally inflicting emotional pain under the guise of being honest. The prosecution's narrative is that Ethan, her closest ally, was the last to see it. His comment is the heartbroken testimony of a key witness who can no longer deny the ugly truth in front of him. Now, let's consider Veronica's presumed defense. Since Veronica hasn't had her say, we have to build her defense based on common reality show tropes and the brief fiery clips we see of her in the trailer. Her defense would be built on a simple, powerful premise. Don't mistake my strength for demonic behavior. Her legal team would argue the assertion of boundaries, what Ethan perceives as demonic. Veronica would call drawing a line in the sand. For years, she may have been a people pleaser, a peacekeeper. Her new assertive stance is not an attack, but a necessary act of self-preservation in a toxic environment. The confrontation of truth. The trailer shows her in a heated argument, yelling, "You're the one who lied." Her defense would argue she's no longer willing to sit by and let falsehoods fester. She's become a truth-teller, and the truth often feels like an attack to those who have been hiding behind lies. The victim of a smear campaign. Her defense could even argue that Ethan's demon comment is a calculated move on his part. By painting her as the villain in a confessional, he controls the narrative before she even has a chance to tell her side of the story. He is preemptively poisoning the jury, the audience. On the surface, it's a classic, he said, she said. But we at Next Bit Stories don't stay on the surface. Now we go deeper. Chapter 3. The Power of Proof. Decoding the Trailer. The editors of these shows are master storytellers. They leave a trail of breadcrumbs, and it's our job to follow it. Let's re-examine those crucial trailer beats, but this time with an investigator's eye. Trailer Beat 1, The Whispered Conspiracy. We see a quick shot of Veronica in a dimly lit room, leaning in and speaking in a hushed, intense tone to another cast member. She glances over her shoulder, a classic visual cue for secrecy and paranoia. The casual viewer sees gossip. We see a potential clandestine meeting. Who is she talking to? What is the nature of this conversation? The body language is not that of a friendly chat. It's the body language of a strategic alliance being formed or a plot being hatched. This visual directly supports the prosecution's claim of manipulation. Trailer Beat 2. The Public Declaration of War. This is the explosive argument. Veronica, finger pointed, voice raised, is on the offensive. The key here is the target of her anger. While the shot is cut quickly, a frame-by-frame analysis shows she isn't arguing with Ethan. She's arguing with someone else entirely. This is a crucial piece of the puzzle. It suggests the core conflict might not be a direct fight between Ethan and Veronica, but rather Veronica has picked a fight with one of Ethan's other allies, forcing him to choose a side. This is a classic divide-and-conquer tactic. Trailer Beat Chapter 3, The Aftermath. This is the most damning shot, and it happens a single second before Ethan's confessional. We see a wide shot of a group dinner. Veronica is at one end of the table looking steely and resolute. At the other end, we see Ethan's back as he gets up and walks away from the table, his shoulders slumped in defeat. The editing here is no accident. They are explicitly telling us an event involving Veronica at this dinner is the direct catalyst for Ethan's demon verdict. He wasn't just disappointed. He was so utterly broken by what happened that he had to physically remove himself from her presence. The on-screen evidence paints a grim picture. It shows secrecy, public aggression, and a devastating emotional fallout. But this is just the story the producers want you to see. Now, let's talk about the story they tried to hide. This is where Next Stories goes beyond the competition. Through sources close to production, sources who must remain anonymous for their own protection. We have received reports that the root of this conflict has nothing to do with feelings or family drama. It has everything to do with money and ambition. Here is the exclusive theory. Our inside track suggests for months Ethan had been secretly working on a significant business opportunity, something outside the scope of the show and the PLA family's traditional ventures. Our sources describe it as a potential branding partnership with a national outdoor lifestyle company. This was meant to be his ticket to true financial independence, a project he was passionate about and had been cultivating on his own. According to the report, Ethan made one critical mistake. He confided in Veronica. He told her every detail, not as a business partner, but as a friend. He shared his pitch, the company he was targeting, and his vision for the future. He trusted her. And this, our sources allege, is where the betrayal began. The report claims that Veronica, seeing the potential for herself, went behind Ethan's back. She allegedly used the information Ethan gave her to contact the same company. But she didn't just try to compete. She reportedly sabotaged Ethan's pitch. Our source states she framed Ethan as unreliable and difficult to work with, while positioning herself as the more professional, media-savvy alternative. She didn't just steal an idea. She allegedly assassinated his character to do it. Now rewatch the trailer with this new lens, the whispered conspiracy. Is this Veronica gossiping, or is this a clandestine phone call with the company? Finalizing her deal while looking over her shoulder to make sure Ethan doesn't catch her? The public argument. The person she's arguing with could be a family member who discovered her plan and is confronting her about it. Her line, "You're the one who lied," could be a deflection, a way of turning the tables on her accuser. The dinner table fallout. This dinner, our source suggests, is where the truth finally came out. This wasn't a slow burn. It was a sudden, brutal revelation. Imagine Ethan sitting at that table, learning that his closest friend had not only stolen his dream, but had used his own words and vulnerabilities against him to do it. His walk away isn't just sadness. It's the physical manifestation of shock and utter devastation. Suddenly, the word demon doesn't seem so hyperbolic anymore. In the world of business, a move that is calculated, that personal, and that destructive. Well, demonic is one word for it. This theory posits that Veronica's ambition completely eclipsed her loyalty, and Ethan was the casualty. This is a powerful, compelling theory. It fits the evidence. It explains the depth of Ethan's pain. And if it's true, it reframes Veronica as one of the most ruthless players in the show's history. But what if even that isn't the whole story? What if the business betrayal was just a symptom of an even deeper, more twisted disease? Connecting the dots from theory to proof. If you think the business deal is shocking, brace yourselves, because our intelligence suggests that the true demonic act wasn't the theft of a business deal. That was just the vehicle for the real betrayal. The real weapon Veronica used was a secret. Ethan's secret. To understand this, we need to rewind. Over the past year, Ethan has been on a journey of deconstruction. He's been questioning everything he was raised to believe, not just about the world, but about his own family, specifically his parents, Kim and Barry. Our second and even more explosive report alleges that during this period of vulnerability, Ethan confided in Veronica about his deepest, most private doubts, not just general frustrations, but specific incidents from his childhood that he has never shared publicly. He allegedly told her things that, if revealed, could cause irreparable damage to the PLA family's public image. He gave her the key to his emotional vault. Now, let's connect this to the business betrayal theory. What if Veronica didn't just badmouth Ethan's professional reputation to that company? What if, to truly seal the deal and prove Ethan was unstable, she used one of his personal private confessions against him? Imagine this scenario. The company executives are on the fence. Veronica, in a final desperate move, says something like, "Look, you don't want to work with him. He's carrying a lot of unresolved trauma. For example, he told me that when he was a teenager," and she proceeds to share a deeply personal and painful memory that Ethan entrusted to her in a moment of utter vulnerability. That is demonic. That is the kind of betrayal that severs a bond forever. It's one thing to steal a dream. It's another thing entirely to take someone's deepest pain and use it as a weapon against them for financial gain. It's an act of emotional violence. This theory explains the depth of Ethan's reaction in a way nothing else can. The word demon is no longer about a backstabbing business partner. It's about a friend who took his soul, the very essence of his private struggles, and sold it for a contract. This would mean Veronica didn't just see an opportunity. She saw a vulnerability and exploited it with surgical precision. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a premeditated emotional assassination. And the most chilling part, this leads us to an even darker question. The architect of chaos is Veronica a pawn? We've painted Veronica as a master manipulator, a ruthless businesswoman, a betrayer of the highest order. But one thing feels off. While she has grown more assertive, this level of calculated multi-layered deception seems like a massive leap in character. Is she really capable of orchestrating all of this on her own? This brings us to our final and most disturbing theory for part 1. What if Veronica isn't the true demon? What if she's just the demon's new favorite vessel? Think about the power dynamics in the Pla family. Who has the most to gain from driving a permanent wedge between Ethan and his strongest ally? Who has a history of manipulation and playing the long game to maintain control? All signs point to one person, Kim Pla. Consider the motive. Ethan, with Veronica as his rock, has been gaining more and more confidence to stand up to his family. Their united front was a threat to the old family hierarchy. But an isolated Ethan, an Ethan who is emotionally shattered and no longer trusts anyone. That Ethan is much easier to control. Could Kim be the architect behind this entire conspiracy? Our sources have not confirmed this, But the chatter we're hearing suggests we should look closely at the interactions between Kim and Veronica in the first half of the season. Was Kim subtly poisoning Veronica's mind against Ethan? Was she feeding Veronica's ambition, encouraging her to go for it with the business deal, knowing full well it would destroy Ethan's most important friendship? Kim could have been the one who coached Veronica on how to frame Ethan as unstable, perhaps even suggesting which secrets to use as leverage. In this version of events, Veronica's actions are still monstrous, but they are not entirely her own. She becomes a pawn in a chess game being played by a grandmaster of manipulation. Kim gets what she wants, her rebellious son brought to heel, and Veronica takes all the public heat for it. It's a brilliant Machiavellian move. This transforms the narrative from a simple story of a broken friendship into a multi-generational power struggle. The little demon comment is no longer just about Veronica. It's a reflection of the toxic demonic influence that has haunted this family for years. An influence that has now successfully infected the one pure relationship Ethan had left. So, we are left with a terrifying set of possibilities. Is Veronica a cold, calculating businesswoman who sacrificed a friendship for a paycheck? Is she a cruel confidant who weaponized a friend's pain for her own selfish gain? Or is she merely a puppet, her strings being pulled by a master manipulator working from the shadows, a demon in plain sight? The trailer gave us a single clue, but it has unlocked a conspiracy that threatens to burn the entire Parr family to the ground. And we have only just begun to scratch the surface. We presented the insider reports, a secret business deal Ethan was pursuing, allegedly stolen by Veronica using secrets he had entrusted to her. And we asked the ultimate question, was Veronica acting alone, or was she a pawn in a much larger, more sinister game orchestrated by the family's master manipulator, Kim Parr? We left off on the precipice of a terrifying truth. Now, it's time to jump. Welcome back to Next Bit Stories, and thank you for joining me for the conclusion of the special investigation. If you thought the revelations in Part 1 were shocking, I suggest you brace yourselves because the intelligence we've received since we last spoke is a certified bombshell. We have learned of a secret witness, a digital ghost in the machine, and we are prepared to deliver our final ruling on who the real demon is in the story. Let's get back to the evidence. The secret witness, a betrayal overheard. Every great conspiracy has a whistleblower. A person on the inside who sees something they weren't supposed to see, who hears something they weren't supposed to hear. In the case of the Little Demon conspiracy, our sources, who have proven to be incredibly reliable, have identified a secret witness. And that witness is the one person who stands at the crossroads of every PLA family conflict. Moriah. Think about it. Moriah has always been the family's emotional barometer. She is fiercely loyal but desperately craves independence. She loves Ethan and has a complex evolving relationship with her mother, Kim. She is uniquely positioned to have been in the right place at the wrong time. And that, our insider report alleges, is exactly what happened. The report we received details a specific incident that occurred approximately 1 week before the explosive dinner scene shown in the trailer. Moriah returning home unexpectedly to retrieve a forgotten item reportedly walked in on a conversation that was never meant for her ears. A conversation between Veronica and Kim Parr. Our source was able to provide stunning, albeit details of what was said. Moriah allegedly heard Kim speaking in a low coaching tone. The words she overheard were chilling. Kim said, "He's emotional. He always has been. If you want them to see you as the stable professional choice, you have to frame it that way. You're not attacking him. You're just presenting the facts about his volatility." According to the source, Moriah froze, listening from the other room. As the conversation continued, Veronica apparently expressed hesitation, her voice laced with guilt. Veronica said, "I don't know, Kim. He told me those things in confidence. Using them feels wrong." And this is where Kim delivered the master stroke of manipulation. The line that allegedly sealed Ethan's fate. Kim said, "Honey, this isn't about feelings. This is about your future. Ethan is stuck in the past. You are trying to build something real. Sometimes for the greater good, you have to make difficult choices. A real friend would want you to succeed, even if it meant he had to face some hard truths about himself." This alleged conversation is the linchpin of the entire conspiracy. It's not just a smoking gun. It's a signed confession. It confirms the business betrayal theory. They are explicitly discussing how to position Veronica as the professional choice over Ethan. It confirms the weaponization of secrets. Kim is actively coaching Veronica on how to use Ethan's private vulnerabilities, his volatility, hard truths as a business tactic. And most importantly, it confirms Kim as the architect. She is not just aware of the plan. She is directing it. She is soothing Veronica's conscience, reframing a vicious betrayal as a necessary act for the greater good. Now, watch the trailer again with Moriah as the secret keeper. Look at her in the group shots. There's a new tension in her eyes, a pained expression that isn't just about general family drama. It's the look of someone burdened by a terrible truth. She is watching this train wreck happen, knowing exactly who lit the fuse. Her silence in the trailer is no longer passive. It's the deafening silence of a witness who is torn between her loyalty to her brother and her fear of her mother. This single report, if true, changes everything. It proves that Veronica's demonic turn was not a spontaneous act of greed. It was a calculated performance with a script written and directed by Kim Pla. But in the 21st century, conspiracies don't just happen in quiet conversations. They leave a digital footprint. And our investigation has uncovered that, too. Uncovering the digital ghost. In today's world, the most damning evidence is often hidden in plain sight, buried in a sea of data. While we don't have access to the PLA family's private devices, our intelligence network has been analyzing their public and semi-public digital activity, searching for anomalies, and they found one. A small, seemingly insignificant detail that speaks volumes. Our exclusive digital theory centers on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the platform for professional networking. It's a place where deals are made and careers are built. According to a source who tracks the digital C-suite, the CEO of the national outdoor brand Ethan was targeting has a notoriously private lockdown profile. He rarely adds new connections. Yet, our source found something fascinating. Publicly available data on the platform shows that Veronica created a new highly professional LinkedIn profile approximately 3 months ago. Within 48 hours of creating that profile, one of her very first new connections was this exact CEO. Why is this so significant? The timeline. This connection was allegedly made a full 6 weeks before our sources claim Ethan even finalized his pitch to present to the company. This is premeditation. This wasn't Veronica seeing an opportunity and impulsively going behind Ethan's back. This suggests she or someone advising her had identified this opportunity and began laying the groundwork long before Ethan trusted her with his dream. She was building her digital resume and making strategic connections while simultaneously playing the role of his supportive friend. Now, let's add Kim back into this equation. Kim, having recently entered the business world with her dance studio, has become increasingly social media savvy. Is it so hard to believe that she was the one who advised Veronica to build this professional profile? That she used her own network or simply her cunning to identify the key players at the company and instruct Veronica to connect with them? This digital breadcrumb, this ghost in the machine corroborates Moriah's witness account. It paints a picture of a long-term calculated strategy, a conspiracy that was months in the making. We can only speculate about the text messages and emails that were exchanged. Imagine the digital trail that has since been deleted. Messages between Kim and Veronica strategizing, perhaps even messages from Veronica to the company, subtly planting the seeds of Ethan's unreliability, all while texting Ethan words of encouragement. The sheer coldness of it is staggering. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a covert operation. And every covert operation has fallout. The fallout, a war on all fronts. The little demon comment was the first shot fired in a war that has now engulfed the entire PLA family. The betrayal we've uncovered hasn't just destroyed a friendship. It has redrawn the map of loyalties and created new battlefronts. Ethan's isolation. Sources close to the family describe Ethan in the wake of this revelation as a ghost. The happy-go-lucky car-loving guy we knew is gone, replaced by a man who is deeply suspicious and emotionally closed off. This betrayal didn't just hurt him. It validated his deepest fears that he can't trust anyone, that the people closest to him will always eventually use him. This is exactly the outcome Kim would want. An isolated Ethan is a controllable Ethan. A broken Ethan is one who might, in his desperation, even return to the fold. The family takes sides. This conflict has forced every family member to choose a side. Micah, always the pragmatist, is reportedly torn. On one hand, he understands ambition. On the other, the level of personal betrayal against his own brother is something he can't ignore. He is likely playing the middle, trying to be a neutral Switzerland in a world on fire. Lydia, the family's moral compass, is said to be devastated. She would see Veronica's actions and especially Kim's alleged involvement as a profound sin, but her ingrained obedience to her mother would put her in an impossible position, likely forcing her into a pained, tearful silence. Barry is reportedly and characteristically confused. He likely sees the surface-level conflict, but is completely unaware of the Machiavellian chess game being played by his own wife. He just knows his family is fighting again, and he doesn't know why. And then there's Olivia. For seasons, Olivia has been painted as the villain, the disruptive force who pulled Ethan away. But our investigation suggests a stunning reversal of that narrative. Where was Olivia when all this was going down? Our most heroic report places Olivia at the center of the discovery. The report alleges that Olivia, with her out's perspective, noticed the shift in Veronica's behavior first. She saw the new ambition, the subtle manipulations, and grew suspicious. While Ethan was blinded by his friendship, Olivia, the protector, started digging. She was the one who allegedly noticed the strange digital connections. She was the one who pieced together the timeline. And in the most painful moment of all, she was the one who had to present the evidence to her own husband, knowing it would shatter him. In this light, Olivia is not the villain. She is the hero of the story. She is the only one who had the courage to uncover the truth and the strength to stand by Ethan as his world fell apart. The conspiracy to isolate Ethan may have had an unintended consequence. It has likely forged his bond with Olivia into something unbreakable, an alliance of two against the world. And this brings us to the end of our investigation. We have examined the evidence, followed the leads, and uncovered a conspiracy of shocking depth. It is time to step back into the courtroom and deliver the final ruling. Chapter 10, The Final Judgment. We began with a single question. Where did the little demon comment come from? After analyzing the on-screen evidence, the trailer beats and our exclusive insider reports, we at Next Stories are ready to deliver our verdict. The verdict for Veronica. The court finds Veronica guilty. Guilty of profound betrayal. Guilty of ambition that curdled into cruelty. Guilty of allowing herself to be manipulated and in doing so destroying a sacred trust. Ethan's demon comment in the heat of his pain was justified. She took his dreams and his deepest vulnerabilities and sold them out. However, we must add an asterisk to this verdict. Was Veronica born a demon? Or was she made into one? The evidence strongly suggests the latter. She was a willing participant, but she was also a pawn. Her guilt is immense, but it is overshadowed by the guilt of the true architect. She is a tragic villain, a cautionary tale of what can happen when you let a serpent whisper in your ear. The verdict for Kim Pla. The court finds Kim Pla to be the true mastermind of this conspiracy. The evidence points to her as the puppet master, the one who identified Ethan's bond with Veronica as a threat and systematically dismantled it. She allegedly coached the betrayal, soothed the conscience of the betrayer, and did it all under the guise of maternal guidance. She didn't just want Veronica to succeed. She wanted Ethan to fail, to be broken, to be isolated, and to be driven back under her control. Her actions, as reported by our sources, are the very definition of demonic. Not in a supernatural sense, but in a deeply human one. It is the demon of control, of manipulation, of a narcissistic need to win at any cost. Even the emotional well-being of her own son. She is the source of the poison that has now infected the entire family system. The verdict for Ethan Pla. The court finds Ethan to be the sole victim in this conspiracy. His only crime was trust. He opened his heart and his mind to a friend, sharing his dreams and his pain, never suspecting they would be catalogued and weaponized against him. The little demon comment was not an attack. It was a cry of agony from a man who watched his best friend transform into a monster, only to realize that the monster was being controlled by his own mother. He is a casualty of a war he never even knew he was fighting. This was never just about a snide comment in a trailer. This was about a silent, insidious war for the soul of a family. It's a story of how the deepest loyalties can be corrupted and how the most innocent relationships can be twisted into weapons, the point of no return. So, what happens now? Where does Welcome to Plaville go from here? Our investigation leads us to believe that what we've witnessed is a foundational break. This is not a misunderstanding that can be healed with a tearful apology over coffee. Trust has been annihilated on a molecular level. We predict the following for the rest of the season. The new alliance, the primary alliance of the show, will no longer be Ethan and Veronica. It will be Ethan and Olivia, a unified front bonded by this shared trauma. They will be more isolated than ever from the family, but more united with each other than we have ever seen them. Moriah's crisis. Moriah is now the keeper of the conspiracy. The pressure of holding this secret will become her central conflict. Will she confess to Ethan what she heard? Will she confront her mother? Or will the guilt slowly eat away at her? Her journey is now one of the most critical to watch. The Cold War. The rest of the season will not be defined by loud, explosive fights, but by a chilling Cold War. It will be a war of silent treatments, of tense family gatherings, where no one says what they're really thinking, of strategic moves and whispered conversations. The real drama will be in everything that is not said. The ultimate question of Welcome to Plaville has always been, can these kids break free? This conspiracy was a direct attempt by the old guard to pull Ethan back into the orbit of control. Whether he can truly escape now with his trust in others shattered will be the central battle for his future. The producers of the show gave us one line hoping it would create a little drama. They never realized they were giving us the key to unlock a conspiracy that exposes the dark, manipulative heart of the entire series. But that's just what our investigation has uncovered. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe our insider reports? Who do you think the real demon is? Let me know your theories, your evidence, and your verdicts in the comments below. This conversation is far from over. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. If you appreciate this kind of investigative storytelling, make sure you're subscribed to Next Stories and hit that notification bell because we are always watching and we are always digging for the truth. Until next time.